So basically, Arman, you shit your pants. Know what I mean? That's what you did. You farted and followed through and had shit coming down your leg. The only person in the top 10 I can think of who's under 35 is Arman Tsarukyan. He's just a little posh boy who's had everything handed to him on a silver platter by his dad.
MMA fighters Arman Tsarukyan and Paddy Pimblett have ignited a fierce social media clash. The exchange, marked by heated and provocative remarks, has quickly captured the attention of fans and critics alike, fueling debates both inside and outside the octagon. Adding fuel to the fire, Tsarukyan's bold dismissal of Pimblett's forthcoming bout with Michael Chandler has stirred the MMA community. According to Tsarukyan, the upcoming clash is merely another hype-driven event lacking substantive merit. He went so far as to assert that he typically ignores both Pimblett and Michael Chandler's performances, arguing that their careers don't compare to his own level of accomplishment in the sport. The controversy appears to deepen as Tsarukyan positions himself as a benchmark for excellence, implicitly challenging the credibility of his rivals while fueling discussions across social media platforms.
You got Chandler, you got Paddy in that one.
I don't know, they're both not good, so I don't follow them. So it's like 50-50 fight. It's just hype fight. They're not like, I don't watch their fights because they're not on my level.
Echoing this stance, Chael Sonnen, the outspoken MMA analyst, weighed in on the debate by noting a close personal connection with Arman Tsarukyan's wrestling coach, Daryl Christian. According to Sonnen, even without what he referred to as Uncle Chael's protection, Tsarukyan isn't someone who's willing to settle for subpar competition. He asserted that Tsarukyan will not engage with fighters he deems unworthy, emphasizing that only his best performances deserve the spotlight, while any shortcomings will be conveniently overlooked.
I would fully admit for you, one of Arman's wrestling coaches is my very good lifelong friend, Coach Daryl Christian. So, Arman Tsarukyan will go through with the veil of Uncle Chael protection. That's true. He's not going to take any bumps. The bad will not be discussed and the good will be highlighted.
Doubling down on his support, Sonnen maintained that Arman Tsarukyan remains the #1 contender in the sport, emphasizing that Tsarukyan's secured contract is a decisive factor in cementing his top-tier status. This contractual backing, according to Sonnen, leaves no room for debate.
Arman is the #1 contender. This isn't my opinion. He had the contract. The #1 contender and the #1 ranked fighter is very commonly misunderstood in our industry. The #1 contender is whoever's got the signed contract for the next shot. He could be ranked number 9. He's the #1 contender.
In a surprising contrast, Sonnen contends that a strategic maneuver is underway to catapult Paddy Pimblett into a title fight. According to him, Pimblett is merely 2 bouts away from challenging for the championship. Importantly, Sonnen emphasized that Pimblett's ascent isn't just fueled by popular support. The fighter will also have earned the necessary ranking credentials by then. He also noted that Pimblett's confirmed fight with Michael Chandler plays a crucial role in this progression, marking a pivotal step in his journey toward the title.
There is most definitely a move to get Paddy the Baddy in a title fight. Paddy the Baddy is 2 fights away from fighting for a world title, and not just because he'd have the mandate of the masses, he would actually have the ranking at that point as well. Paddy the Baddy is damn near the guy, and he's got, of those 2 matches he needs, he's got one of them. Now, getting a fight with Michael Chandler ain't easy to do, and getting the jump on Michael Chandler is much more difficult to do. I'm just suggesting for you that Paddy the Baddy is making his move, and Arman had to address it.
Reflecting on this evolving dynamic, Sonnen recalled Arman Tsarukyan's dismissive stance regarding a potential matchup with Pimblett. Tsarukyan made it clear he has no time for fighters he considers unworthy of his caliber, showing little interest in a bout with Pimblett, regardless of how the latter performs against Michael Chandler. Sonnen emphasized that the shift in perception around Pimblett is remarkable. There was a time when even the sport's top contenders shunned discussion about him, yet now he's stepping into the octagon with elite opponents. This evolution in Pimblett's status underscores the dramatic transformation in his career trajectory.
And Arman, I mean, don't ask me to fight this guy. I don't care how he does against Chandler. I don't have time for bums like Paddy the Baddy, but it's very relevant. I mean, there was a time, guys, not long ago when we dismissed Paddy the Baddy. There was times when the top 5 guys didn't speak about him. They would do pictures with him and be nice to him because Paddy was happy to meet him. Now Paddy's fighting one of them in Michael Chandler, and Paddy's getting talked about fighting in another one in the #1 contender. I mean, what a difference a day has made for Paddy the Baddy.
Building on that observation, Chael Sonnen noted that the fact Arman Tsarukyan is even addressing Paddy Pimblett is a clear indication of the high-stakes environment at the top of the sport. According to Sonnen, while the journey to reach elite status involves dedicated effort and climbing the ranks, defending that position is an entirely different challenge. He went on to explain that witnessing Tsarukyan respond to Pimblett, a fighter who was once dismissed by even the top-tier athletes, is not a sign of disrespect. On the contrary, it serves as a tremendous compliment to Pimblett's rising stature in MMA.
The fact that Arman Tsarukyan is needing to address Paddy, and he's needing to address him from a standpoint of making sure he pulls him down, right? There's a game to play. And when you get up to the top, you spend your whole time trying to get there. But it's a completely different game fending guys off. And to watch Arman have to fend off Paddy, I don't want you guys to misunderstand this because it's a tremendous compliment to Paddy.
Not one to stay silent, Paddy Pimblett fired back on a recent podcast appearance, taking aim at Arman Tsarukyan with sharp words. He mocked Tsarukyan as a little posh boy who, in his view, has had everything handed to him on a silver platter by his father. Pimblett didn't hold back, further dismissing Tsarukyan with an expletive-laced jab, escalating the tension between the two fighters and adding more fuel to an already heated rivalry.
He's just a little posh boy who's had everything handed to him on a silver platter by his dad.
Do you think he actually got injured or no? Or what do you think happened?
No, he's a little chap. That's what you are, Arman. Little boy.
Doubling down on his criticism, Paddy Pimblett continued his verbal assault on Arman Tsarukyan, bringing up a past video where Tsarukyan was seen flipping forward onto his neck, only to later claim he was dealing with a bad back to avoid Islam Makhachev. Pimblett mocked the contradiction, questioning the legitimacy of Tsarukyan's injury claims. He also highlighted a moment from the post-fight press conference of Renato Moicano versus Islam, where Dana White was asked whether Tsarukyan still held the #1 contender spot. According to Pimblett, Dana's response was telling as he dismissed the idea outright and suggested Tsarukyan would need to go back to the drawing board.
Arman Tsarukyan, what do you do with him at this point? I mean, do you automatically rebook him in the next title fight? Do you go back to the drawing board?
No. Yeah, he's going back to the drawing board. I don't want anybody to ever fight hurt, ever. You know, we've been in these positions before. Went down there with the doctor. Went down there with Heather from the PI, who is, you can ask any fighter or anybody else, she's the best in the world. And you know, you miss opportunities sometimes, and he did. So we'll see how this plays out for him next year.
You feel like he could have competed? You feel like he could have competed tonight?
I have no idea. I don't know that. Only he knows that.
What actually made it worse, Pimblett pointed out, was that Tsarukyan reportedly turned down a fight with Islam Makhachev not on medical advice, but by his own decision.
And then he was doing them videos where he flips forward on his neck.
Right.
And then he's saying that he's got a bad back. Dana said, didn't he? It was like Dana shot him down in that interview. I was like, whoa, that's heavy, that. You don't want the boss saying that about you. But because he got asked, didn't he, is Arman still #1?
Right.
And he was like, no, he's going to have to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
He basically said that, like, doctors come out and Heather, the best masseuse in the PI, come out and they never said to him, you can't fight. He decided.
Taking his criticism even further, Pimblett didn't hold back as he continued his tirade against Arman Tsarukyan, accusing him of backing out of the Islam Makhachev fight out of fear. In typical Paddy fashion, he ridiculed Tsarukyan with crude imagery, claiming he completely folded under pressure at the prospect of facing the champion. Pimblett went further, mocking him by saying he let one slip and paid for it, painting a vivid picture of Tsarukyan allegedly cracking under pressure.
So basically, Arman, you shit your pants. Know what I mean? That's what you did. You farted and followed through, and had shit coming down your leg.
Taking the feud to new heights, the back and forth between Arman Tsarukyan and Paddy Pimblett took another turn as Tsarukyan fired off a scathing tweet, escalating their social media feud to a new level. Taking direct aim at Pimblett's rise in the UFC, Tsarukyan dismissed his rival's climb to the spotlight as manufactured. He didn't stop there. Tsarukyan threw down a challenge, daring Pimblett to call him out if he got past Michael Chandler. Tsarukyan stated in response to Paddy's diss, says the guy who got the easiest path to the top in UFC just because he's got a funny accent and budget Beatles haircut. I dare you to call me out if you win, and we will see who will shit his pants in the octagon when we meet Clown. However, before any potential confrontation or any talk of a showdown with Tsarukyan takes place and materializes, Pimblett has a serious challenge looming, one that could redefine his trajectory in the division as he prepares to step into the octagon against the explosive Michael Chandler. Meanwhile, Chandler remains focused on the bigger picture. Chandler isn't just preparing for Paddy Pimblett, he's already visualizing the finish. Confident and calculated, Chandler revealed that he's mentally run through the knockout scenario, anticipating not just the result but even the trash talk that will come with it. While he admitted that a first-round victory would be ideal, Chandler emphasized that his game plan goes deeper than a quick finish. He vowed to apply a level of pressure and intensity that Pimblett has never encountered before, openly questioning whether Paddy will rise to the occasion or fold under the fire.
I've already visualized knocking out Paddy Pimblett. A couple of the call-outs, a couple of things I'm going to say. First round would be great. I think I'm going to put a pace and a presence on him that he's never felt before now.
In response to ongoing doubts, Chandler addressed the criticism surrounding Paddy Pimblett's relatively soft strength of schedule, stating that a lack of high-level opponents so far doesn't necessarily equate to a lack of toughness. He acknowledged that Pimblett could prove to be more resilient than many expect, but made it clear that any lingering questions will be answered under the lights on fight night.
Does he sink or he swims? I think just because there's been an absence of strength of schedule in his career thus far doesn't mean there's a presence of cowardice. You know, he could be tougher than we think he is. We'll find out. But April 12th, Miami, Florida, UFC 314, we do find out if he sinks or swims. But knock him out first round. Go out there, rip off a crazy promo draped in the stars and the bars. Hopefully President Trump is cage side. Get the entire place to the feet.
Adding another layer to the drama, Michael Bisping weighed in on the controversy surrounding Michael Chandler, addressing recent accusations that the former title contender has been bending the rules and engaging in questionable conduct. Bisping noted that these claims have sparked debate within the MMA community, adding a layer of intrigue to Chandler's upcoming clash with Paddy Pimblett.
Whether or not this man is a cheater when he's inside the octagon, is he doing whatever he takes? Is he bending the rules? Is he eye gouging Dustin Poirier, doing whatever he can to get the win and just disregarding the rule set completely? And that is the accusation that has been thrown his way by people like Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, and if you go online, you will see that narrative all over the place. So much so, he's had to come out and do an interview about it.
Countering the accusations, Bisping has come to Michael Chandler's defense amid the cheating accusations, stating that when he looks at Chandler, he doesn't see a cheater. Instead, Bisping sees a fighter who embodies the very essence of what fans tune into the UFC for. Michael added, "It's almost guaranteed fireworks, and that's what we love about Michael Chandler." According to Bisping, it's fighters like Chandler who helped elevate the sport to where it is today. He praised Chandler for his relentless heart, willingness to take risks, and consistent ability to deliver Fight of the Year contenders, regardless of whether he always sticks to the game plan. With the highly anticipated matchup between Chandler and Paddy Pimblett on the horizon, Bisping highlighted that it's this kind of intensity and unpredictability that will keep fans on the edge of their seats.
I don't see a cheater when I look at Michael Chandler. I see a fighter that gives us exactly why we tune into the UFC. It's fighters like Michael Chandler that made this sport so great in the first place. He goes out there and fights his goddamn heart out. And yeah, sometimes doesn't stick to the plan, doesn't have the smartest fight IQ, doesn't lean on his wrestling. No, because he wants to go out there and knock out his opponents. And he delivers Fight of the Year contenders time after time. And that is why we're all going to tune in this weekend against Paddy Pimblett.
Building on his earlier point, Michael Bisping offered a perspective on the tough realities fighters face in the heat of battle, emphasizing that while rules are important in theory, they often take a back seat when you're in the octagon. According to Bisping, it's easy to remember the rules when you're sitting on the sidelines as a referee, judge, commentator, or spectator, but when you're the one lying on your back with a world-class opponent raining elbows and knees on you, survival becomes the priority.
When it comes to the cheating side of things, you got to remember, these rules that they have in place, that's all well and good. If you're sitting on the sidelines, or you're the referee, or you're the judge, or a commentator, or a spectator sitting at home, you can remember the rules. But when you're the one sitting there on your back and you've got a world-class opponent on top of you, dropping elbows into your face, getting you in a tight clinch and just ramming knees into your mouth and smashing your nose to pieces, okay? Sometimes you're not thinking about the rules. Sometimes at that moment in time, you are thinking about survival.
Emphasizing this point further, Bisping added that in those moments, the focus shifts from strategy to simply staying in the fight. Bisping argued that it's these brutal, instinct-driven exchanges that make MMA so thrilling and why fans keep tuning into the sport.
And it's fights like that and fighters like Michael Chandler why we tune into this sport in the first place.
As the fight approaches, Pimblett has made his intentions crystal clear ahead of his high-stakes clash with Michael Chandler. Speaking candidly, Pimblett revealed that his primary motivation is to take Chandler's number 7 ranking and finally shed the prospect label that's followed him throughout his UFC career.
Want to come and take rank 7 off Michael, you know what I mean? That's the motivation. Want to stop getting called a prospect and start getting called a contender.
In addition to his desire for ranking, beyond climbing the ranks, Pimblett is driven by deeper motivations. With a growing family to support, the financial stakes add extra urgency to the bout. For him, losing isn't an option. It's all about securing victory, moving up the ladder, and proving that he belongs among the elite.
Obviously the extra motivation's me babies, you know what I mean? I've got to put food on the table for them, and if I lose, I won't be getting anywhere near as much.
While Pimblett is motivated by both personal and professional stakes, Michael Chandler is approaching his April 12th showdown with Paddy Pimblett with complete focus, treating the rising Liverpool star as the most dangerous opponent he could face.
I'm not taking Paddy lightly. An absence of strength of schedule is not the presence of weakness.
Despite his own experience and accolades, Chandler isn't underestimating Pimblett for a second. He's locked in, preparing for war, and treating this bout with the seriousness of a title fight.
I'm looking at Paddy like he's the most dangerous guy who I could possibly face on April 12th.
Building on this, Chandler acknowledged Paddy Pimblett's youthful appearance, joking that while the Liverpudlian might look like a 16-year-old, he certainly doesn't fight like one. Still, Chandler made it clear that looks aside, Pimblett is a dangerous man once the cage door closes, and fans can expect fireworks when the two collide.
Even if he is self-proclaimed looks like a 16-year-old boy, but he doesn't fight like that. And we're going to go out and we're going to put on a show.
Similarly, Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson shared his perspective on Paddy ahead of the bout, noting that many people overlook how Paddy got to where he is. While acknowledging the criticism Paddy receives, particularly for taking too many shots, Johnson praised his fighting spirit. He emphasized that Paddy always shows up, whether he's in trouble or in control, and highlighted the Liverpool fighter's diverse and unpredictable striking arsenal as a key factor in his success.
A lot of people don't see how Paddy got to where he is, right? Paddy has, had criticism about the way he fights because he gets hit a lot. One of the things that I love about Paddy is that he always brings it when he fights. When he's in trouble, he brings it. When he's winning, he brings it. And the diversity, he's so diverse in his attacks and when he fights.
In line with Johnson's thoughts, Corey Sandhagen weighed in with his prediction ahead of the highly anticipated clash, calling it an interesting matchup. While acknowledging the competitiveness of the bout, Sandhagen leaned slightly in favor of Michael Chandler, backing him to get the win when the dust settles.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, this is an interesting one too. I'm going to probably go to Michael, I guess. Yeah, Michael Chandler, I guess, even though he is kind of in the same position where he's a little bit older than Paddy, but I'll go Mike for that one.
Continuing the discussion, Youssef Zalal shared his take on the upcoming showdown, siding with Paddy Pimblett for the win. Citing Paddy's jiu-jitsu credentials, Zalal expressed confidence that Pimblett has the tools to take Chandler down, control him on the ground, and potentially secure a submission finish.
Bro, this might be crazy, but I think I'm going to go with Paddy. I think I'm going to go with Paddy just because of the jiu-jitsu. I think he can take him down and just hold him down or submit him.
Building on this, Song Yadong gave a straightforward prediction for the Chandler versus Pimblett clash, backing Michael Chandler to get the job done with a knockout victory.
Michael Chandler.
Okay. How does he win, do you think?
Knockout.
Henry Cejudo weighed in on the fight, stating that Paddy Pimblett is a lot better than many people think. He believes that Paddy has the potential to pull off an upset and secure a win over Michael Chandler. Cejudo also noted that a victory could bring Paddy one step closer to a title shot, positioning him as a serious contender in the division.
I think about it too. I think Paddy Pimblett is a lot better than what we think, and I'm smelling an upset here, and I do believe that he could a win over Michael Chandler could put him in a really good position where he could be one fight away for fighting for the title. Could Justin Gaethje be that next fight for Paddy the Baddy?
Expanding on this, Jan Blachowicz weighed in on the Chandler vs. Pimblett matchup, calling it a very nice fight. While he admitted that on paper Chandler appears to be the favorite, he acknowledged Paddy's unorthodox style and ability to use it effectively, suggesting the fight could be closer than expected.
It's, very, very, very nice fight. Maybe on paper Chandler, but Paddy is, he's very good, and he got his weird style. He knows how to use it, so.
Moreover, Kamaru Usman expressed his enthusiasm for the fight, sharing that he spent a significant amount of time training with Michael during this camp. He emphasized that when Chandler can dig deep and commit to his game, he can be a dangerous opponent capable of inflicting serious damage. While Usman appreciates the challenges of the matchup, he ultimately sides with Chandler, describing this as a crucial crossroads moment in his career.
But this is the coming out party for I belong in that top. I'm a contender now. I'm not just a prospect. I'm a contender now. So I like this fight. I spent a lot of time with Michael Chandler in this camp. And man, when Michael Chandler's able to bite down and get going, man, he can really hurt you. He can really hurt you. So I like it. I'm gonna have to go with Michael Chandler here because I think this is also a crossroads for him.
In addition, Mario Bautista weighed in on the upcoming fight, describing it as an interesting matchup. He believes that if Michael Chandler fights smart and sticks to his game plan, he could win the fight. However, there are also doubts about whether Chandler can even fight smart. Bautista cautioned that if Chandler becomes reckless and loses his composure, Paddy Pimblett could seize the opportunity, potentially securing a submission victory. Ultimately, Bautista predicted that Chandler wouldn't fight strategically and would lose the fight.
I think if Michael Chandler just fights smart, which is, I don't know if that can go in the same sentence. I think he can win, but, if he gets a little crazy and kind of reckless how he has been, I could see Paddy, probably winning this fight. Maybe by submission too, so I don't know, we'll see.
What do you think's more likely? Do you think Chandler fights smart, or do you think he doesn't and loses?
Wow. I think he doesn't.
Okay, I like the honesty.
As the rivalry heats up between Arman Tsarukyan and Paddy Pimblett, all eyes are on their potential showdown. But before that, Pimblett's high-stakes battle with Michael Chandler on April 12th will be a crucial test in his career. With both fighters bringing intensity and ambition, the upcoming fight promises to be a defining moment in the lightweight division. Drop your predictions in the comments. Who do you think will come out on top? If you enjoyed the video, show your support by liking it and sharing with a fellow MMA fan. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on any updates. And we will see you in the next video with more exciting updates.